Howdy folks, I'm making up some black powder lube that I'm going to be making homemade wads with. So I'll start with just some beaded beeswax. I just do about a 50-50 mixture of that and really cheap olive oil. It's cheaper than lamb tail oil and I've had pretty good luck with it so far. It does get a lot harder in really cold weather when it's like 10 degrees, which is about every day I've had off in the last 2 months to go out and shoot. But so I'm just going to dump this in here. Just kind of coat the whole thing. That should give me close to a 50-50 mixture. And that looks pretty good. So it's not an exact science, but that's what we're looking at. So I've got some felt here. This is just synthetic felt. It's not very thick, but once you soak it in this stuff and then punch it out later, it seems to stay stiff enough. This was just a scrap piece my mom had from doing crafts. So I'm going to cut the camera off and then I'll pick up after we do a little more with it. Okay, so I got my little bread pan in the toaster oven I have in my basement. I've just got it set at about 400 for like 10 minutes. You could, if you had a microwave, which I don't at the moment, microwave's fine. Heating it up on the stove in a different container. You could use a like a wax melting pot. Got my wife looking for one of those at a thrift store real cheap. If I can find one of them, that'd be easier. But for now, that's what I'm doing. So we'll give that a while and let it melt. And then we'll soak the felt and go from there. Alright, we're back. We got this all mixed in and melted good. Melted and mixed in, whatever. It's this is what it looks like when you're done. So it just basically looks like oil. So I'm going to take my gloves on because this stuff, of course, is, boiling hot. And I am just going to take this and I am going to completely submerge it in that stuff. And I think I'm just going to leave it in there. Let those fibers kind of soak that up for a couple of minutes. Got a piece of an old t-shirt here. Maybe not a couple minutes, but I'm going to let that soak in real good. Because I don't want it just on the outside. I want the entire, all the fibers to have that in there. And since it's oil, it takes a little bit for it to soak in good. Kind of work that around. Straight wool would probably be better than this, but I made some wads out of some old socks that my wife had that wore out, some of those thicker fuzzy ones. Seems to work just fine. Okay, you're not going to want to actually touch this stuff with your hands. I'm going to just lay that out and let it dry, and then we'll punch it out and we'll have lubed wads. Howdy folks. Alright, we got it to the point where it's hardened up, which only takes like half hour. It's been a little longer than that, but it's stiff but still pliable. I got an old cutting board here from leatherworking. You don't want to, if you're doing leatherworking, you want a different one than your main one, because this stuff is, there's some leftovers in there. I dumped out most of it and then put it back in here to keep soaking. So it's really saturated and it's folded in half so they'll be thicker.
William says that he's gonna move the firewood.
Okay, so I got this punch kit off of Amazon. Oops. So it's got all these different sizes. A .375 round ball, if you do the math, comes out to exactly 3/8 of an inch. which is slightly bigger than your bore diameter, but the same as your round ball. So I'm going to do 3/8. That seems to be working. So you just take that and you just punch out your wads. I'm using a poly mallet for leather working. And you want to punch, I've tried it both ways. You definitely want to punch out after you lube them. If you do it before, you don't get a clean punch. You end up with a bunch that are like still fibers hanging on. If you do it this way, it works really well and it doesn't take long at all. You just keep punching them out.
Well, we're going Target hunting.
Oops, I don't know where that went. And then this is what you get. And I've used them, and they seem, the fouling was not that bad and stuff, so they seem to work really well. And if you've already got the felt and already got the beeswax, the olive oil is pretty cheap. Like I got this free, and my wife already had the beeswax, so it made sense for me to make them. Otherwise, you spend $10 for 100, but I spent like, I think that olive oil wasn't even $5, and we already had all the other stuff. I already had this set up. I already had the mallet. So for me, this is cheaper. So if you've got some of the stuff, it might be cheaper for you too. And they work great in your cap and ball revolver. You could also use them for loading shot in like a 50 caliber with the 1/2 inch one, because 50/100ths of an inch is 1/2 inch. So the 1/2 inch one will work for making shot wads for your 50 caliber muzzle loader if you would want to shoot bird shot out of it. So just other things you can do and make buying these punches more worthwhile. I don't remember the brand on these, and I don't think it says on the box. It's just a cheap kit off of Amazon that I read good reviews on and had good luck with them with leather and with this. So anyways, that's that, and thanks for watching.